Choice Middle School here in Columbia. I've discovered something that I'd like to share with you. It's somewhat of a secret. Now, I know what you're thinking. At my age, it's probably a pimple or something. No. We are not going to discuss that issue. I want to share another secret. One that does not involve what may or may not be growing on my face. I guess you would call it an open secret. It's like one of those things that's right there in front of your face, but often goes unnoticed. Even other people may recognize it, but you may not notice it yourself. Like halitosis. Just kidding. Seriously, it's like the air we breathe, the grass beneath our feet, healing connections in the insignificance of small problems. We all kind of know these things, but we often take them for granted, and we walk through our lives blind to the very things we are capable of seeing. It's a common knowledge that isn't always commonly observed, demonstrated, or experienced. So what's this big secret? We all know the answer. The answer is, legacy. Dictionary.com defines legacy as anything handed down from the past, as from an ancestor or predecessor. Otherwise, a legacy can be anything passed down from one person or group to another. It can be any old noun, literally, a person, place, or thing. The road you traveled to get here. The music on your playlist. An old family recipe for peach cobbler. The necklace that once belonged to your late great-grandmother, or the signing of the Declaration of Independence, as well as the signing of the Civil Rights Act, are all legacies left to us by our predecessors. Da Vinci's Mona Lisa. Beethoven's Ode to Joy. Tupac's When Thugs Cry. Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream. Mother Teresa's Compassion. Florence Nightingale's Healing. Shakespeare's Hamlet. To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether 'tis noble in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of trouble, and by opposing end none, to die, to sleep. These are all examples of powerful legacies left to us by great men and women. The famous author Shannon L. Adler once wrote, "Carve your names on hearts, not tombstones. A legacy is etched into the minds of others in the stories they share about you." I love that quote. Think about it. That's a powerful legacy, to live in the minds of others long after you're gone. However, sometimes the storied legacies that play in our minds about our predecessors aren't always pleasant. Here's the thing. A legacy can be either good or bad. It can be an instrument of peace, or it can provoke war. It can teach us how to love, and conversely, it can teach us how to hate. It can spawn a cycle of fridges, or condemn generations to poverty. Perhaps as we consider the importance of legacy, we should consider our own, and how we want our story to play in the minds of the generations to follow. You are creating a legacy whether you know it or not, actively or inactively. Consciously or subconsciously, you are a participant in your own story or legacy that you'll leave behind to others. Perhaps the thing about creating a powerful, lasting legacy is to realize that you don't have to be a sheep. Yep, you heard me right. I said sheep. Seriously, you don't have to be just sheep. Gary Larson, the creator of The Far Side, sketched a little comic titled Just Sheep. In this comic, a large herd of snowy white sheep grazed lazily in the fields. In the middle of this lazy pack of cotton balls, a single sheep stands on its hind legs, with its arms raised to the sky, and shouts with normal ray exuberance, "Wait! Wait! Listen to me! We don't have to be just sheep!" Wow. What a profound statement for a sheep. I love this comic. Not only is the typical Far Side funny, but it's also powerfully transferable from sheep to humans. Yes, it's true. We don't have to be just sheep. We don't have to follow the pack, nor do we have to accept the status quo. Each of us maintains the right to refute the ideology that things are as they should be, and we are only to conform to the existing state of affairs. I say, if you don't like it, change it. Or as Alicia Keys once sang, you gotta love it, leave it alone. The status quo is representative of how things are, but not how they have to be. We have the power to change, to be what we want and live how we want. We too can be the exception and stand above the crowd. This is nothing new. The concept of changing your life to be how you want it to be is as old as time. Just take a quick look back at human history. There once was a time when humans simply grew weary of walking. So we mounted a camel. Soon, we got tired of being stuck between humps and creeping along at camel speed. So we hopped on a horse. No, not that kind of horse. That's more like it. That's a great smile. Eventually, we got tired of riding solo. For our best tandem, we created the buggy. Armed with a need for speed and increased desire to rid the streets of smelly horse droppings, we eventually invented the car. Cars soon bored us, so we created a domestic version of urban defense vehicles, better known as SUVs. Just like the liberated sheep, humans have always managed to rise above the status quo to create a new reality. We have a knack for opening doors where none seem to exist. Larson's Just Sheep cartoon illustrates rejection of societal norms and the individual's refusal to conform to standards and engage the will to live freely and not follow the herd. Paul of Tarsus wrote that you be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. That's such a powerful statement. We may live in the pasture, but we do not have to accept the pasture mentality. We can renew our minds by setting our love, attention, and agenda on higher things. We are fortunate to be surrounded by green pastures and glorious fields, but we can be more than a grazer, more than just sheep. Ask yourself, are you happy with the status quo? Are you living life on your own terms? Are you actively creating the legacy you want to leave? Or are you just following the herd? If you're following the herd, there's a good chance that little sheep are shouting at you. Wait, listen to me. You don't have to be just sheep. about the most. You realize that it will be the power of a robust and thorough education that will allow you to create the life you want to live. In addition, your education is not only a gift to yourself, but also a gift to those who fall behind you. When you are no longer a student working for an education, when your education is working for you, you will touch the hearts and lives of others in ways you never knew was possible. That thing called an education will live longer than you and reach further than you can ever imagine. Each time you open a textbook, it becomes a down payment, not only on your future, but to the future generations that follow you. It's a ripple effect. Your legacy is bigger than you. I look at my own mother as an example. Some of you may know her. My mother works for careers, is also a student here at HCC. I think you call her an adult learner. Not only she's a student and employee, but she's also a mother to me and my little brother, and a wife to my dad. Her being here as a student greatly affects my life as I learn from her experience. The late night studying, the deadlines, the exams, the sacrifices she makes to ensure that her being a student here doesn't take too much time away from the family. She's a living example of love, commitment, hard work, and sacrifice. Those things are her gift to me and my little brother. It's part of her legacy. Her life is a tool wielded in the construction of my life. It will impact the lives of my children's children. In his book, Fahrenheit 451, best-selling author Ray Bradbury penned these words. Everyone must leave something behind when he dies. A child, or a book, or a painting, or a house, or a wall built, or a pair of shoes made, or a garden planted. Something your hands touched in some way, so your soul has somewhere to go when you die. And when people look at that tree, or that flower you planted, you're there. It doesn't matter what you do. So as long as you change something from the way it was before you touched it into something that's like you after you take your hands away. The difference between the man who just cuts the lawn and a real gardener is in the touching. The lawn cutter might as well not have been there at all. The gardener will be there a lifetime. Thanks, Mom. My father, who continuously stresses the importance of education, pushes us to dream big. His inculcations are constructed with the idea of living beyond oneself. He wrote this poem titled, The Wall. I would like to share it with you now. When I was a child, my dream was to climb the tallest mountain. At the top, I would yell, I am here. That is something I've never done. When I was a child, I thought I would own the world, but instead, I settled for a modest home. When I was a child, I dreamt big things, only to realize that big dreams don't always come true. Some of my childhood dreams were too fantastic and can never be realized, but most were blocked by the wall. You know the wall that rose slowly and grew tall, separating me from my dream. Some people pointed at the wall of acceptance and said consolingly, oh, that's just life. I didn't see life. I only saw a wall that blocked my path and obscured my view of the world. There were days when the sun, in all of its splendor and glory, could neither penetrate nor rise above the wall. pointed at the wall of empathy and said, "Oh, that's just the way it is." I didn't understand, so I asked, "Why does it have to be this way?" There were days when I felt alone, trapped behind the wall. I heard voices whispering gleefully, "This is who you are." As the wall grew taller, the smaller I became. No, the wall would not define me. It would not stop me from being who I was born to be. I stood up against the wall and pounded with all my might. Someone pointed accusingly and snarled, "You can't do that. What you are trying to do cannot be done." It began to break. As it did, my eyes were blinded by the rays of sun that spilled through its cracks. My hands bled and the stones fell upon me with torturous blows. But I never stopped. As the blindness faded, I began to see things that I had never seen before. The wall crumbled around me. There were those who yelled enthusiastically, "Tear down the wall." They too began to believe. I did. Piece by piece, I brought it down. When the wall had fallen, I stood at the top of a tall mountain of stone, what was once upon a time a wall. I yelled, "I'm here." There were those who heard me and smiled at my victory. When it was done, there was no longer a wall between me and my dreams. There was nothing that stood between the world and me. I love this poem. It reminds me that whatever you do, never let anything stop you from reaching your goals, from living your dreams. Yes, this is the big secret. It's the awareness of the importance of your life and the choices you make. It seems clear to me that once we truly understand the true power of legacy, we will begin to recognize and appreciate our own added value to humanity. We begin to recognize our own capacity for greatness and how our lives are connected. Each one of us possesses great power and influence. When you truly consider it, there's no such thing as a trivial day. Each and every day presents a great opportunity to create a better world, not only for ourselves, but for others, even those who are yet to be born. Your journey has only just begun. You wield a power you cannot yet perceive. It's in the heart of your legacy that your true self will be revealed. Trust in what you are. Trust in what you will be. Consider your legacy. Go. Plant your tree, your flower. They'll flourish in the hearts and minds for others for all time. Remember, you're much more than what you realize. Thank you for your time.